What's up, guys? Welcome back here to part 3 of the Rocket Punch Game of the Year 2020 awards. It is Cameron, it is Seth. We are back here, part 3, the end of week 1, and whatever you want to call it here. Unexpected gem here at Rocket Punch. The quick rundown, and then we're going to get straight into the topic, guys, here, because we don't want to waste any time, because we got a bunch of stuff to talk about here. To give you guys the quick rundown once again, all of January here is dedicated to Rocket Punch and our Game of the Year coverage. Each week, we're going to be giving you guys 3 parts. So this week it's part 1 through 3. Next week is 4 through 6. The week after that is 7 through 9. We're going to be talking about our the 10 categories that we have and picking those games for our Game of the Year categories, with the 10th week being, or the 10th episode on the last day in January being our Game of the Year coverage. We're going to have that live on Twitch. You guys are going to be able to interact with us as we give you all the deets and finally make our pick for what our Game of the Years are. For each of these categories and each of these episodes, guys, Seth and myself are going to each pick 2 runners-up and then 1 overall winner for each of the categories that we discuss in each episode. We'll also give you guys a couple of honorable mentions as well, some games we kind of want to give a shout-out to that maybe didn't get as much limelight in the main episode there. This week, or this episode, is Unexpected Gem. It is a favorite. We love doing it.
Yes.
We made some slight tweaks to how we interpret this. Add any expletives we need to, Seth. But Unexpected Gem for us is that a game that kind of took us by surprise. Doesn't have to be an indie game, doesn't have to be a AAA game, but a game that maybe we weren't expecting or kind of flew under our radar, and we finally got a chance to play it, and we're just really caught us by surprise in how much we loved and kind of were drawn to this game in playing it here. Anything else I need to add to that?
Nope, I think you got it. It is expectations being exceeded greatly.
Okay. But yes, this is a fun one. I think this is the one that always has a lot of interesting picks that we each have. That maybe none of us expect or know about. I think I also found like this is the category that we always have like, oh, I don't know about that game. What is that game? Kind of asking more information on it. So I'm ready. Seth, are you ready?
My body is ready.
Okay. People listening and watching, are you ready? I'm assuming that you're saying yes and nodding your head. So let's get into it, guys. It's part 3, so we're flipping back to myself. I get the first pick here, and man, I'm going to be honest. As I started building this list out more and more, and thinking about the games, especially what Unexpected Gem means to me, I had a really hard time picking this list because I thought I had the list, and I thought about another game like, oh god, this messes it up. Then I thought about another game, and I was like, oh god, this messes it up, and it just ran amok after that. And so I think for me, I'm going to add this game onto the list, and I'm going to put some caveats on it as well. But I can firmly say that this is a runner-up for me, and that game is Hades by Supergiant Games. This is my first runner-up. My caveat on this is that I am putting this on the list after only having played a very few amount of hours with it. I've not played a ton of time with it, but I've already know that this deserves at a minimum to be on my list. This game is awesome. I'm slowly starting to understand why people are so infatuated with this game. For people who don't know, for some reason, Hades is developed by Supergiant Games. They are the developer and the publisher. I'm reading from the Wikipedia guide to make it easier for me, but it's a roguelike action role-playing video game. It released this September. It had early access back in 2018, and this year is finally when it got released. Giving a quick description here from Wikipedia. Players control Zagreus, the son of Hades, as he attempts to escape from Underworld to reach Mount Olympus at times aided by gifts bestowed on him from the other Olympians. Each run challenges the player through a random series of rooms populated with enemies and rewards. The game has a hack and slash combat system. And then, while Zagreus will often die, the player can use gained treasures to improve certain attributes or unlock new weapons and abilities to improve chances of escaping on subsequent runs. This is the game. You talked about it a little bit beforehand, Seth. Like, this is the game that is really has a great premise for the rogue-like aspect. For people who don't know, like the aspect, like you go through a run, you die, you restart that run, but you have like skills and whatnot that you can carry over to try and create better gear or get better skills so that you can progress further in each run. As the run changes, maybe the environment or something changes, or the fights change, whatever that may be. I finally got a chance to sit down with this game during the holidays and put my hands on it, some FaceTime with it, and it's very interesting in a way. I like it in a way. It kind of threw me for a loop for a second. It does not hold your hand. You jump, it loads up, and you go right in, and I'm like, wait, okay, how do I do some stuff? And you're going through a run. You're playing as fast as you can, and you're gonna die. It's gonna happen. And when you die, you go back to Tartarus and talk to all these people and get new skills and whatnot, so you can go on a subsequent run. And as you go on each run, you go into these rooms. It felt a little bit like, the way I could describe it for me was like a roguelike hack and slash Celeste, in the sense that each room is like a part of a level. You go into a room, it's isolated, you do whatever you need to there, usually kill people or trigger some trap or whatever, or survive. And then when you're done, the doors open up to the next room. What gets interesting is that when you go to each room, there are these power-ups that you can get. Sometimes you'll have a room that has two doors. And if you go through door A, you could maybe have a chance of getting a power-up from one of the gods on Olympus. But if you go to room B, you have a chance at getting like a health boost that can increase your overall health and give you some life. And it really, that tactical awareness of like, okay, I'm low on health, so I need to go here, or maybe I'm not doing as much damage that I need to, so maybe I can get a good boon from the gods on door A. And like really in every room, really making you choose like, which path do I want to go down? How do I want to do this? When you go back and every time you die and you end up back at Tartarus, and you go in your room and like choosing your weapons and choosing what skills you want to add some of your point values to after each run to maybe help your life or help your dexterity or help your damage output. Like all these things you have to fine tune to really fit your play style, but also figure out based on the runs that you've done before. Like, man, I had trouble with this enemy. I really need to make sure that my bow and arrow is powerful enough to take him down, because that'll beat him. Or when I fought the first boss, which is Meg, surprise, shocker, and you fought her, and like I remember going to her with the sword, and I'm like, man, I'm getting my butt kicked. So I went back, picked up the bow and arrow, thinking, oh, I'm not going to use this. I never use bows and arrows, and I'm like, whoa, this is actually doing a lot of damage, and I was able to kill her with the bow and arrow. And it was just very rewarding and very awesome and very cool to kind of go through those loops. And the way the story wraps around those loops is so cool. The fact that every time you go to Tartarus, you have these new different conversations. It never feels like that loop is part of the story. And you never feel like you're having the same conversations with the people there. And every time you go there, something new pops up. Maybe somebody's there. Maybe somebody's not there. And you see, as you continue to die, you see more of this story flesh itself out by doing so. And it's really, really cool how Hades and how Supergiant Games tackled that. That is why it is on my list as a runner-up. I'll have more time as we continue to record these, but I wish I had more time as talking about it for Unexpected Gem. But this game is something special. I'm already starting to see that in just a few hours that I played with it.
Yeah. Very good pick. And you are definitely singing the praises. I think that was a great summary of what makes that game really stand out. It is they figured out how to make a roguelike have a story that's cool. Like using the loops as a component of the storytelling is such a simple yet groundbreaking notion. So,
and also I'll give a small shout out as well. Sorry, Seth, but like
oh, you're good.
the controls are awesome. I thought looking at this game it was going to be very Diablo-esque, where you use the mouse to click and move to the place you want to go to, like any isometric gameplay. But you used WASD to move on the PC, and then you use the mouse as your aiming mechanism for attacking. And I thought like the way it feels and playing it, it felt better than Diablo to me, and I loved it.
Ah, see, I've only played with controller, so that's interesting. Interesting insight. All right, so this is a tough category for me, Cameron, because there are a lot of games that I ended up plopping into my honorable mentions because I try and be a purist when it comes to what an unexpected gem is, and it is a game that your expectations are absolutely zero on. Or it is a game that you take a risk on, right? Like you're like, I don't know if I'm going to like this or not. I'll go ahead and give it a shot. And so I was looking through my games this year that I played, and there was one game, and it's ironic because the way I do a lot of this stuff is I'll pull up the Xbox app, I'll pull up the PlayStation trophies, I'll pull up my Steam library and sort by date played, right? And that's how I kind of like remind myself what I've been playing this year. Well, this game didn't show up in any of those, because this game runs in its own little special launcher because it's a special little game. And so my first runner-up for Unexpected Gem is Genshin Impact.
Oh my goodness!
This was all right. So when I first heard about this, I was like, "There's no like, I'm not playing some gotcha bullshit like Breath of the Wild clone. Like, no, I do not want that." And I gotta admit, like, I went to, this was one of those, I went to Twitch and I watched a streamer play it, and I was like, that looks kind of fun. That looks fun. Like, it's anime Breath of the Wild.
No!
Say no more. And so at that point, I gave it a shot. And Cameron, I can't tell you how many hours I poured into this game, man, up to
I'm scared to
the
know.
first like 3 or 4 weeks.
I'm scared
I played this game every night. I did all my dailies. I spent all my resin. It was wild. It was wild. I did not spend any real money on it. I feel like there's a good 20 to 40 hours of gameplay you could get without dropping a dime in that game. Okay. But you do reach a point where you kind of get to where it's like, okay, I can just continue grinding the story to see what the story is, or if I really want to like push myself to get more stuff, start dropping some coin, for some additional wish rolls, and that's when it starts to get a little But man, Genshin Impact was an absolute blast. It is a horrible clone. Not a horror. It's a great clone, but it is a horrible, like, it does a bad job at hiding the fact that it is a clone of Breath of the Wild. It is that game to a T, but it's super fun. And I also like how they're adding more on. So like they just came out with an update 2 days ago that added in the Ice Mountain. So like there's an entire
I heard about
new
that
section.
Yep.
Obviously they're adding in new characters like every 2 or 3 weeks, get you to put the coins in.
Of course.
But this new update is all free. You can go. It's a continuation of the story. So if you've never played a gacha game like this, these stories tend to go on and on and on forever. And even when they end, they find new ways to continue them. So I wouldn't necessarily say play it to finish the story, but you can definitely play it to see the story. I think it's a cool story. And yeah, Genshin Impact, first runner-up for Unexpected Gem of 2020.
Okay. All right. Good pick. Good pick. Good pick. Or maybe not. I don't know. I'm questioning.
It was a good pick. It's a good pick.
I haven't played it, so don't be surprised if you don't see Genshin Impact on my list
you
at all.
Just put it on your phone, Cameron. Just pull it up, play it on your phone.
No, I'm good. My next pick. Again, I love this category because there's so many interesting picks, and I'm kind of on the same vein as you, Seth. Like games that really had little to no expectations for the game. Maybe a game that maybe didn't fly under the radar, or that flew under the radar for me. And this was a game I remember seeing bits about it, but I was just like, I didn't think about it. I was like, okay, whatever, you know, hoop de doo. Um, this game is Ghost Runner from One More Level and
Oh, yeah.
Slipgate Ironworks in 505 Games published this. This is, again, helping myself out reading from the Wikipedia page. Ghost Runner is a cyberpunk action video game developed by Studio One More Level and co published by All In Games and 505. It is as this gameplay is as Jack the Ghost Runner. The player must traverse dangerous environments by dashing, jumping, wall running, and grappling. The player will also encounter enemies, which must be handled carefully. Blah, it's given a bunch of boring stuff. Let me tell you the gameplay. The game is basically you are this cyberpunk ninja. Imagine Cyberpunk 2077, but instead of guns, you have a katana and cool ninja abilities. And it's a first person, like, and it's Celeste. It's like cyberpunk. You're a cyberpunk ninja and you're playing in each room. It's like Celeste, where you go into a room and these enemies are shooting at you and you have to kill all the enemies, and that's the objective. And you have to use your wall climbing and your dashing and your skills to kill all the enemies before you're hit, because if you it's one of those, like, you get hit once and you're dead, and you reset to the last to the beginning of the room, and you have to figure out how the puzzles work in order to kill all the enemies and progress forward. The story was really cool, but I remember playing this game on a stream. I think it was for Extra Life, actually, for the first
Yeah.
time. And I was like, okay, this is cool. You know, we'll see how it is. You know, I kind of wanted to play it and see how it is. And I was like, I think I played an extra hour. I was like, this game is awesome. This is super cool. Like, jumping in and dashing and, like, trying to kill these enemies, and very much in the vein of Celeste. Like, crap. Okay, if I can jump over here and slash this guy and then turn real fast, I can deflect that bullet and go over to this other guy, then jump back over to him, and, you know, use my slingshot to swing over and not get hit, and then jump on this last guy, and I got it. And just that part, like, that feeling like you're in this room and you start dying a lot, but it doesn't feel hard. You're just like, I know how to beat this guy. I can do it. I can keep going. I can push myself. Let me get this. And the cyberpunk aesthetic that they have over there with all the different skills and abilities. I remember, like, the last time I played, I got the ability where you can, like, basically, like, what's the ability in Naruto where you, like, put the dummy and, like, you end up somewhere else, like basically
Shadow
teleport.
clone jutsu.
Yeah, something like that. And you,
Shadow
like,
clone jutsu.
jump and, like, dodge bullets and, like, kill somebody that way. I finally got that ability, was starting to use that, and this is, like, maybe a couple of hours in, so there's still plenty of game to go in. But Ghost Runner, a Ghost Runner again for me was like, and the reason why it's a runner up on my list is it's an epitome of a hit unexpected gem. Did not have very much expectation on this going into it. I didn't like, okay, it looks kind of cool and it has a cyberpunk vibe, and cyberpunk's coming out. Let me try it out. Let me play it. And I dove in and I played, and I loved every minute of it. And, you know, whittling this down on my list, I really, especially, you're going to hear my honorable mentions later, but, like, I really felt like this one deserved to be on the list to compare to some of the other ones. Even though I love the other ones and I have a lot of great stories and stuff to talk about with them, you know, I think Hades, especially looking in the vein of an unexpected gem, Hades maybe could have gotten higher up. But I think, you know, I started playing it after everybody was already singing its praises. So I was kind of had, like, my expectations were already pretty up there going into the game.
Yeah.
And it met and exceeds those expectations. But I think this one was one that got to those heights. But my expectation for this game was very little.
Yeah.
And it's a game that, like, it's Celeste. In a lot of ways, it is just like Celeste. It is a game that when you go into this room, it challenges you. You have to figure out the best way to kill these enemies using your skills. And sometimes it's one of those things you don't even know what your fingers are doing. You just know you got to do jump, jump, slash, jump, deflect, slash, jump, and all this other crap. Teleport over here, swing. And as they add more abilities, it becomes more and more complex. But the story and the setting and the graphics and everything was just complements the game, which is, I think, the core of this game, which is the gameplay. And it's super, super cool. And it's a game, a smaller game that I think everyone should check out. You should go check out Ghost Runner. Grab it on a sale. I think it's on your major platforms now. I played it on
Yeah.
PC, and I think they're gonna release it on next gen systems with an upgrade in 2021. So definitely
So you're
check out Ghost
saying
Runner.
you're saying it's like a Muse Dash, but without the rhythm game part. Just memorize the. You don't actually have
Yes.
time to read what's happening on screen. You just have to memorize the hand motions.
Yep. You gotta go.
That's it.
It's reflex. But
Very
no,
nice.
check out Ghost Runner. It's super super awesome.
Very nice. So my next one, Cameron, I want you to know this was the first soul wrencher. I'm gonna call it. This was the.
Ooh.
I had to really decide what was gonna be my second runner-up versus what was gonna be my winner, and I feel like it again boils down to exceeding your expectations and surprising and delighting, right? The game I ended up putting on runner up, I think, is the more interesting and cool game from a like gameplay and game design perspective.
Okay.
But I'll talk about my winner when we get to the winner. However, my runner up for Unexpected Gem of 2020 is Phasmophobia. One of
Okay.
the best
Ooh.
and
Oh
most
boy. This.
unexpected multiplayer experiences I've ever had. It is, Cameron, there's no other game like it. I've never even thought of having a game like this before. It is, for those that don't know, this is the ghost hunting game that is in early access on Steam, and I almost omitted it because it is in early access, but it would be foolish for me to ignore the time that I've already put into it. I've already got about 30 hours into this game. It is very simple. You go into the house with three of your friends, up to three of your friends, and it is your job to determine what type of ghost is haunting that house. And the only way you can do that is by collecting clues based on how the ghost reacts to you and your equipment that you bring in, right? So, not going to give you a rundown if you don't know what this game is. There's tons of streams, tons of videos on it, but some things this game did that really blew my mind. One is it uses voice dictation to understand what you're saying. So you are speaking to the ghost when you talk to it. And that creates some really great scenarios because you obviously, as you play this game, you learn what to say and what not to say, right? Well, then once you know what to say and what not to say, you can start to weaponize the ghost to a certain extent, right? So the ghost does not like expletives, so I'm just going to drop a bunch of curse words, then close the front door. Oh, it's locked. Ooh, too bad. One of my friends is still inside. Got him. But it's, man, Phasmophobia, there's no story. There's progression, but it's like you solve the crime, you get some XP, and you level up, and leveling up unlocks new equipment, but you'll pretty much unlock everything in the first like 10 hours of playing. But it is infinitely replayable just because it's a random ghost each time. Your friends are there. You'll kind of start to figure out the ideal way to tackle each situation, but they're also adding new maps all the time. Man, Phasmophobia is honestly one of the best games I've played this year. It is.
We've played on stream and off like multiple
Yeah.
it is a unique experience, and it like even knowing like I know what the game's about, like it's unnerving. I remember the time we were in the freaking school, how I'm like oh god, everybody stop, shut up, just shut up.
Yeah, exactly. And you can't, like, a game is good when you are telling your friends, hey, let's get out of Discord, jump into the game chat, because it's pivotal to the gameplay loop of that, right?
Yep.
And there's a terror in knowing that the ghost is hunting, but if you say something to your friend who's talking 90 to nothing, you're gonna paint a target on your back. And so then you just have to watch them die.
Seth,
and
we're
you
out.
feel bad.
We're outside of we're in the truck. Seth.
Yeah.
Seth. Oh god.
Yeah, the radio goes out. It's just one of those. I can't wait to see this game's growth pattern, because like even the creator said that their original plan was to maybe release 2 new ghosts, 3 new maps, and then wrap it up and be 1.0. Because this game has basically been a top 10 seller since it came out in October, they said this has completely changed their roadmap for this. This is going to be a multi-year development cycle. They're going to probably look at adding tons of new maps, tons of new ghosts, and I can't wait. It's janky. It's not a clean game by any means. Like, it is a mega janky game. But when you talk about an unexpected gem, I've had more great memories with Phasmophobia this year than I think any other multiplayer game I've played.
Good pick. A good pick.
Winner.
Chicken dinner.
Runner-up.
Runner-up.
Not winner, but runner-up.
It is my time for my pick.
Speaking of winners.
Yes. Speaking of winners, my winner for Unexpected Gem for Game of the Year 2020. If you know or remember, if you know about this game, I will be shocked. This might be a shock to some people, or confusion in some way. But I will say that I've played this game a good chunk. I haven't had the chance to go back to it this year, but it is always in my mind. And like, I always want to continue playing this. And this is a game that we talk about expectations. I didn't even know this game existed until it came out. And it was a game that I'm like, oh, I'm kind of nervous. I don't know. You know what? I'll take a chance on it. I'll give it a shot. And I love this game so much. And I'm so happy. This is one of those where you put the money down on the table, you get the game, and you go home and you start playing it, and you're like, oh my God, I'm so glad I spent the money. This is the best decision I've ever made. I can't believe it. And that game is Marvel's Avengers. No, I'm just kidding.
Dude, I was about to seriously eat my Ethernet cable. You can't be doing this to me, dude. Listen, I'm 30 now. My heart can't. Okay.
But it's so much fun. No, it is not Marvel's Avengers. Actually, I will give you a chance, Seth. Do you have any idea what game I'm talking about?
I have no idea, honestly.
You have no idea. Okay.
It's like I could make a couple stabs, but the ones that I would guess are free. And so I don't think you would have taken a risk on a free game. You just try it.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
This game is Other Side. A game in which I have a video up on YouTube about it, on youtube.com/RockyPunchGo, if you want to hear my initial thoughts on the game. But Other Side is a game from Lightbulb Crew, published by Focus Home Interactive. Giving the quick synopsis here on Wikipedia, Other Side is a horror-themed tactical role-playing video game developed by French independent game developer studio Lightbulb Crew and published by Focus Home Interactive. Other Side is a tactical role-playing video game that the player controls a group of daughters, who are female warriors who fight against the nightmarish suffering in a dimension known as the Dark Corner. While the daughters and the enemies take turns to take actions, the game features a dynamic timeline system, allowing players to use various skills to delay an opponent's turn or speed up another daughter's turn. All actions require action points. The daughter will become exhausted and she will need to wait longer before she can act again. They have 3 classes. Where's the other point I want to... the skills of these classes can also be extensively customized. The player's playstyle will also shape their traits and personalities. The game also features rogue-like elements. Battles take place in small maps, and when the player squad is defeated, they would not lose their progress, and new items named Remembrances are unlocked. These items improve combat efficiency and allow players to survive longer. The only way to heal a fallen daughter is to sacrifice another daughter in exchange. The surviving daughter will have altered traits, enabling further customization. So, to make it in simple terms for everybody listening and watching, imagine XCOM meets Hades with a gothic, dark, horror, almost, I hate to use the word, especially around you, Seth, almost tiny little bit of Lovecraftian horror-esque elements composed within the game. You are like, you start the game as the mother, and it teaches you how the game is played, but then you turn out, spoiler alert, I guess the mother dies, and she begins to create these daughters, which you help her create these daughters. The daughters are your units. I'm actually going to, if you haven't Googled it, Seth, I'm going to send you the Wikipedia page.
I googled it. This game has so much style, it hurts.
And it like you have how these different, you know, the two big things, the timeline system where you have this huge timeline, and the game shows you how to use the timeline where you make attacks
Nice.
on thank you, excuse me, you can make attacks that can slow enemies down and push them further back in the timeline, or you can do abilities and attacks that kind of help speed your units and your daughters up so that way they can attack faster. And you can, if you play your skills right, you can prevent enemies from even attacking because you're jumping ahead of them in the timeline so quickly. And then there's the roguelike element. You have these runs and you go through with your units, your daughters, your group of daughters that you've created, and you go through and you play, and when all your daughters die, you basically, it resets and you take those some of those abilities and skills from those daughters and you try and repurpose them into a new set of daughters that you grow and create the units that you have in order to be more successful and make further pushes into the dark corner in this dark realm. It is this game is not easy. It's a tactical RPG. It is tough. It is hard. It holds your hands very much, but this is, I compared it to XCOM because XCOM isn't easy. When your unit dies, they are dead. They do not come back. And there is no, if I remember correctly, there is no option that says, "Oh, I want easy mode." It is the game. There is a specific screen when the game starts after the intro that tells you your units will die, and if they die, they're gone. That is part of the loop and part of the game and part of the roguelike elements in this. This game, Seth, I was on a computer and I kept seeing ads for this game called Other Side, and people were reviewing it and talking about it. And I'm like, what is this game? Started watching some videos on it. Okay, it looks kind of intriguing. I like tactical RPGs. Went on a limb, said, you know what? Here's $20, $30, whatever, however much it costs. I'm going to give this a shot. I'm going to play this game. This game is awesome. Love this game so much, and I want to play more of this game. The style and the gothic horror elements are something that are really unique to tactical RPGs for me, and something I really haven't seen in that genre. The fact that it has roguelike elements in a tactical RPG, which I've never seen before, are something that are super cool and super interesting to me. The story of the daughters and kind of the fact that you can, like, you grow and create your own daughters and give her these abilities and perks to try and give her this class. You can try and make them strong warriors to help you fight, is really, really cool. And it's a shame that this, of course, flew under everybody's radar. You didn't know about it. I'm sure a lot of people don't know about this game out there. But I'm on Steam right now, the game has very positive reviews on the game, but it is a hard game. Hard. Reading some reviews, 9 out of 10 on IGN. The best turn-based tactics game of the year so far from IGN. Windows Central, brutally rewarding gameplay, intriguing story delivery, and epic boss battles. 8 out of 10. Seth, I know you're a big Lovecraftian guy. If you watch the video, you might actually be slightly intrigued in this game.
You've piqued my interest. You really have.
It's a really cool game, and it's wonderful. I love it. It is my winner. It is my pick for Unexpected Gem. This is the epitome for me of what we've talked about all night, Seth, of what an Unexpected Gem is, and it 100% deserves my pick and my win for this year.
That is going on the wish list. Thank you for sharing.
I told you that this category is fun. You learned about these new games.
This was a great category, yeah.
You maybe have never heard of.
Well, My number one game is a game you probably have heard of. However, this was my take a big chance game for the year. I am generally very, very particular about games that I buy at full price on launch,
Hmm.
but I had followed this game for a while. I had heard the community's isms with this franchise in particular. And I was like, well, you know what? I want to try it out for myself. And I downloaded it. And here's a hint: my Nintendo year in review just came in, right? And you see it showed me the graph of playtime, right? And it was like March. And then it kind of slowly slumps down as like I fall off of Animal Crossing. But when we get to August, it goes through the roof as I pick up and start playing Paper Mario, the Origami King.
Paper Mario. All right.
This is a game that completely caught me by surprise. I did not really know what to expect with this. The main kind of battle mechanic is this kind of spin puzzle style mechanic. So it's all about lining up the perfect route to get to the enemies so that you jump on their head, or if they have spikes, you got to hit them with a hammer or that kind of stuff. So there's a lot of it. Basically, every single fight is a strategy session, right? It's not a very, I wouldn't say like timing based game. Now you do have that Paper Mario classic of like time your button press to like make the hammer do extra damage or the jumps do extra damage. But all in all, this game, it captivated me for a lot of reasons. One is just the overall world, right? Like it is an origami world. So it's all these environments that you're used to seeing, like the Mushroom Kingdom, the desert space, but everything's composed of these origami kind of shapes and whatnot.
Okay.
Paper obviously folds himself into different stuff. You meet a little friend along the way. Her name is Olivia, and she's kind of an origami princess, and you have all these other characters. One of my favorite characters from the game is Bobby the Bob.
Oh
And
God.
Bob
Okay.
comes with you. He's a companion that you can have with you on your team. And it's just, Cameron, it is such a funny game. It is so well written. It is paced perfectly. Like right as you start to get bored of an area,
Hmm.
you're moving on to the next area. It can very easily backtrack. In fact, in order to find all that, there's these hidden toads. So like you'll be walking and you'll see a little bug that looks a little off, and you'll hit it, and it's actually an origami bug that unfolds to a paper toad. And there's like hundreds of these to find. Like there's like over 100 in the game to find, and you've got to keep a sharp eye out. So it'll be a mailbox will just rattle every minute or two, and you got to hit that mailbox to knock it out. Basically, hit everything with your hammer. But man, Paper Mario: The Origami King just really got me. I still actually haven't beaten it. I'm on the final area because I wanted to 100% the game, and so right before I
Okay.
leave to go fight the final boss, I backtracked to find everything, and I think I have all the toads. I played it about a month ago, and
You
I think I
think?
got the last. Yeah, I think I got the last toad, and so now all I need to do is go beat the final boss. So that's going to be one of my backlog games that I take care of in January. But man, Paper Mario: The Origami King just is wholesome. It's wholesome. It's, and the reason I put it at number one is because it is a game that it's from a long-standing series, right? Paper Mario, but the conversation I hear about Paper Mario is usually not positive. Like a lot of people just want Thousand Year Door or the
Really?
original Paper Mario. Yeah, well, it's like they want it to be like a Final Fantasy game. They want it to be like a turn-based RPG that has like
Okay.
items that you're upgrading. Because this game doesn't really have upgrades per se. You get coins by winning battles,
Hmm.
and you spend the coins to buy items. You can also find items out in the world, but like you'll have a pair of boots that's they're free. You don't have to use
Okay.
any money or consumables to use them. But then like you can get a pair of shiny boots that do more damage, and they'll last like 5 or 10 attacks, right? And then you get diamond boots and just all these crazy different levels of boots, right? But at a certain point, the game just showers you with so much money that like you really don't I'm like, okay, I got to go to town and buy like 10 diamond boots. So I just go buy 10 diamond boots, and I'm like, okay, well, now I'm set for the next 10 hours of gameplay. But the thing that really got me with this game was just the funny writing. Like, I think I've mentioned this on the podcast, but it's like what do you want me to do? Walk from the right side of the screen to the left, Adam? Like, it's just a lot of like, it's very like family friendly stuff, but stuff that got a good chuckle out of me.
Yeah.
So I would say Paper Mario and the Origami King was one of those just surprising delight. I loved every minute of it. I mean, I've put hours and hours into it, so highly recommend.
I was going to say good description there. You're very passionate about
Yeah.
that one. And that sounds
I
awesome.
love that one.
All right. So that's it.
That's the winner from.
What?
I was just saying that's the winner from my category. Now I do have 5 runners up.
Okay, hold on.
Because I'm bad.
Let me get the rundown real quick,
Okay,
and then we'll jump into runners up here, guys.
Yeah.
That is it, guys. Unexpected Gem. The winner for Seth is Paper Mario and the Origami King, with Genshin Impact and Phasmophobia being the runners up for him. For myself here, winner for Unexpected Gem is Other Side, with Hades and Ghost Runner as my runners up there. Nice round of applause for those guys, everybody who won and got recognized here. Now it is time for the honorable mentions. Seth, you said you had 5, so I'm going to let you go first.
All right. So it is not 2020 if you do not mention Among Us. And Among Us, I think, would probably be the industry's biggest unexpected gem. I mean, this game, Among Us, just it put gaming on the map in a way I don't think many games have an opportunity to. Fortnite, maybe, would be the only other one that I can think of that has this level of reach. And it's definitely a different audience that it's grabbing with Among Us. But that game, there's really not anything to say about it because you've probably already played it. If you haven't already played it, what are you doing? It's free on mobile. It's $5 everywhere else. It's on Switch now. I think it's it's on PC Game Pass, but it's coming to Xbox and PlayStation at some point. I know it's going to be on Game Pass when it comes to Xbox, but who knows? But man, Among Us, like, what can you say? Like, it is a game that it originally came out in 2018. But this year, from what I understand, was the formal release. It's where they launched dedicated servers, and the mobile version and all of that came out this year. So that is one of mine. Next one, Cameron, this is one I fell into. This is a Game Pass find, and it is Monster Train. Have you heard of Monster Train?
I have not heard of Monster Train. I'm going to look that up
so
right now.
If you've played Slay the Spire, this is a game for you. It is, the brief story is that you are on a train that is riding from what is the area outside of hell in Dante's Inferno?
Oh Jesus,
It's
one of the circles.
where you're it's the place where you're basically trapped. It's like the in between.
Purgatory?
Purgatory, thank you. You're going from Purgatory, and you have a shard of the Ember, which is basically like Hell's Flame, and it is your job to get the train safely from Purgatory to the middle of Hell. And so you're going through these levels, and along the way you're getting attacked by like these angels or whatever. Basically, there's a train that has 3 levels, and then you have the Ember core at the top. And It is your job to kill the enemies before they climb the train and attack the Ember core. So it is it's a roguelike game. It's all about runs. But I have been playing this on PC Game Pass. I think it's also on console Game Pass. And man, is it fun. It is, it's a deck building game. So each round you start with a deck, and each deck comes from like these different factions. So like the red faction is all about getting lots of armor and lots of attack. The blue faction is all about magical damage. The green faction is all about like putting in plants and that have like high health, but they start with low HP, and so you have to heal them up to be super powerful, but a lot of healing. Super fun game, super addictive. Monster Train, check it out if you like Slay the Spire. Next up, Fall Guys Ultimate Knockout. Cameron, what a game, man. This is a Rocket League story. It is
100%. Yeah, it is.
It goes there's a lot of discussion around Game Pass. I do think that Game Pass is one of the coolest services in gaming right now. But I do think that if you think you've got an awesome idea and you are willing to launch it into PlayStation Plus, that you could if it is a good game, it will blow up on its own, right? Like it's just crazy to see what happens when these games launch into PlayStation Plus. That community is so engaged and so dedicated to these games that are exclusive. So Fall Guys obviously came out, took the world by storm, came out on PC also. I think it's $15 on PC, but man, what can I say? It's just
expensive.
weirdly enough, it's the video game that got me into VTubers. Which, yes, I'm into VTubers, so unfollow and unsubscribe from me if you want. But I absolutely love it. It's again, like Among Us, it's a game that I think permeates outside of the gaming circle. Like lots of non-gamers can play and enjoy that game. Super big fan. Two more. Whew. Here we go. Astro's Playroom was a game I thought was just going to be a tech demo. I thought it was going to be maybe, an hour or two of gameplay. No, it is a full feature. You can get 6 to 8 hours of gameplay out of it if you want to platinum it. I think it took me about 6.5 hours to platinum it.
Okay.
Astro's Playroom is a great demo for the DualSense controller, but it's also like a fun little collectathon, and I honestly think it's a fun little homage to all the PlayStation legacy things. Lots of fun little Easter eggs for you to find in there. And lastly, this is the game that really, between Genshin Impact and this game, I was really torn on. I ended up giving it to Genshin Impact because Genshin Impact came from a 0 in expectations. But this game is probably the game I have poured more hours into with my friend that I co-op a lot of games with, and that is Minecraft Dungeons.
Yep.
Man, so the reason this ended up was kind of like a honorable mention is because from the moment they said it's a Minecraft Diablo, I was like, sold. Like, I was actually very hyped for this game. So it doesn't quite fit into the unexpected gem. However, it surprised me how good this game was. How much thought and care was put into making the Diablo experience accessible to more people.
Yeah.
I don't mind the hardcore mechanics to Diablo. I don't mind the idea of seasons and stuff like that. But obviously, it's not going to fly with like a younger audience. I think this game, the way that this game fits into my life is I log on to Xbox. I jump into this game with my friend. We play it and catch up on what's happening in our lives. It is the glorified chat room that I honestly think like Fall Guys and Among Us are for many people out there, right? It is a glorified Discord server that it's just something to do while you talk to your friends, right?
Yeah.
And Minecraft Dungeons was definitely that, and a great Game Pass edition. I even got the DLC, the little hero pass. It was $10. Came with a bunch of new levels and a bunch of new stuff. But that is definitely my top honorable mention. Love Minecraft Dungeons. In fact, there's a new DLC pack out and a new season pass out, and I'm trying to decide if I want to buy it on Xbox and keep playing on Xbox, or if I want to bide my time and wait for the cross save and switch over to PC because I don't have Series X. So it's like I would rather play it on PC, but your progress doesn't carry over yet. So we'll see. But that is my list. Thank you.
Oh boy, no, you're good. You're good. I've got a few. Actually, some you've already mentioned. Funny you talk about Minecraft Dungeons. That is one of my unexpected gems as well. I did not. I had no expectations for that game, and I really had a lot of fun. And I haven't really played a lot. I've played nowhere near as much as you guys, but every time I jump in, and I just have a blast with that game. And especially as someone who's never played Minecraft before, still has never played Minecraft. Also going to echo with you. Fall Guys is also on my honorable mentions as well. Man, it was hard not keep putting that on the list, but I think the other three were just a little bit ahead for me. And there was a lot of stuff jumping around with Fall Guys. But again, when it comes to battle royales, I have a very small list of games that I'll actually play for battle royales, and Fall Guys is on that small list with Apex Legends and now Call of Duty Warzone. Now, apparently, that list is getting bigger now because people are changing the formula up. But Fall Guys is just a blast and fun to play. Two other ones that I had on my honorable mentions that I want to bring up here. Number one is a game you have beaten, Seth, and I know you enjoy very much. And I don't know if you wanted to put it on this list. Maybe you're going to feel bad about not putting it on this list. Is Carrion, the game that was on Xbox Game Pass. That game is awesome, and it's not a long game. It's a couple of hours to play. I'm still trying to beat it there, but just like the gameplay and the premise of you being this blob that's just your objective is to kill other people and escape the facility and grow larger is just and especially as you get further in and how you have to play around with your mass a little bit in order to solve certain puzzles. Like, I've got to make myself smaller now in order to get through this tunnel so that I can activate this switch and then go back in and grab the rest of my, mass, whatever you want to call it. But Carrion is a great game. That is on Game Pass. If you have it, you should play it. It is a few hours of awesome, fun, goofy, silly horrorness, and it's wonderful.
I think I 1K'd it in 8 hours, so that's a good tell for easy to 1K. You can actually 1K it before you beat it. There's no achievement for beating the game, so...
Oh, very cool.
You can 1K it before you even beat the game.
My last honorable mention for Unexpected Gem is a game. The reason it's an honorable mention is it's Gears Tactics. I had to put that on here because I was excited about it. It's a tactical RPG, but in a similar vein to Other Side, it's very hard. But I think Other Side really, its motif and its uniqueness being a roguelike, among a lot of other things, really drove me a whole lot more to that one. Like I've talked about in previous parts how much I enjoy Gears Tactics. I love Other Side more than Gears Tactics. That should tell you something.
Oh, wow. That should tell me something. Also, I need to do a quick correction. The Tourist is the game you can 1K without beating, not
Carrion. Okay.
Carrion. You do have to beat the game. Sorry.
But Gears Tactics is just, again, it's XCOM with a gear skin. It's really fun, really awesome. If you're a Gears fan and you're okay with branching outside of the third-person perspective, Gears Tactics is a game you definitely need to give a shot and play. It's a whole lot of fun. It is. Anything else? Is that it?
That's it, man.
That is.
I love Unexpected Gem.
I love it
one
too.
of my favorite categories.
It's so much fun and so many new games we get to experience, guys. But that is it, guys. That is end of part 3 here, Unexpected Gem. And that is it for kind of the part 1 in the first 3 episodes here for Rocket Punch's Game of the Year 2020 Awards Showcase Spectacular. Just going to run with that name now.
There you go.
Thank you guys so much for listening and tuning in. That is it for our batch because we're recording these 3 at a time. That is it for this week. Next batch will be parts 4 through 6. So the next 3 that we're going to talk about category-wise are going to be the fun ones. Biggest impact, biggest fail, and for the win. Those are going to be the next 3 categories we talk about here in part 2. Or the next batch. I don't want to get people confused here. But guys, thank you so much for listening. Again, we're going to be having all these episodes in the podcast feed and on VOD over on youtube.com/RocketPunchGo all throughout January. So whether you want to watch the videos, whether you want to watch the audio, you're definitely going to have your chance to listen to it. Be sure to join us on January 24th as we stream the final episode, Game of the Year. Seth and I are going to be here. We're going to be chatting with you guys, and we're going to break down our games of the year and who we think deserves the coveted award here at Rocket Punch. And then also make your voice heard. The People's Choice voting is available now. I'll have it in the podcast note and on the YouTube video as well. Go over to that Google Doc, put in your vote, make your voice heard. Let us know what you guys think should win in all of our categories, as well as a couple of other extra categories that you'll get in the People's Choice voting as well. But guys, that's it. Thank you so much for listening. We'll see you in part 4 when we talk about our biggest impact. Until then, guys, toodaloo.